You put on winter shoes, choose warm socks, step outside, and after a few minutes your feet feel cold. Not slightly cool, but genuinely cold. Sometimes this happens even when it's not freezing, or even indoors. In moments like this, it's easy to blame the weather or assume that your body just reacts this way. But cold feet are rarely about temperature alone. Most of the time, this sensation appears because something in the system doesn't work as expected. How shoes fit, how heat moves, and how your body responds inside footwear. Once you understand these mechanisms, it becomes much easier to see why winter shoes don't always do what we expect them to do. Cold feet is not just about temperature. Cold feet are often treated as a simple reaction to cold weather. But in reality they are more about heat balance than outside temperature. Your feet can feel cold even when the air is mild or when you are indoors, because warmth depends on how well your body can maintain heat in certain areas. Feet are far from the body's core, which means they rely heavily on circulation and insulation to stay warm. If either of these is disrupted, heat is lost faster than it can be restored. This is why two people wearing similar shoes in the same conditions may feel completely different levels of comfort. One stays warm, while the other feels cold, even though nothing obvious seems wrong. The sensation of cold appears when heat escapes faster than your body can compensate, not simply when the air temperature drops. Shoes that are too tight block warmth. One of the most common reasons winter shoes fail is that they fit too tightly. Shoes that feel snug around the toes or across the top of the foot can restrict blood flow. And circulation is a key source of warmth. Even the warmest materials cannot compensate for reduced blood movement. Tight shoes also compress socks, removing the air pockets that normally help trap heat. As a result, feet may start feeling cold very quickly, despite thick soles or insulated linings. Many people choose tighter shoes thinking they will feel warmer and more secure. But in practice this often leads to the opposite effect. When the foot has no room to relax and warm air cannot form inside the shoe, heat loss becomes unavoidable. Why thick soles don't always help. Thick soles are often associated with warmth, but their real effect depends on how they interact with cold surfaces. Many winter shoes look protective because the sole appears bulky, yet cold can still travel upward from the ground. Hard pavements, concrete, tiles, and frozen soil constantly pull heat away from the foot. Some soles are dense and firm, allowing cold to pass through more easily than expected. Others compress under body weight, losing their insulating ability once you stand or walk for a while. This is why feet often feel colder when standing still than when moving. Without proper insulation from below, warmth escapes continuously, even if the upper part of the shoe feels thick and padded. The result is cold feet that seem to come from nowhere, despite solid winter footwear. Synthetic linings and trapped moisture. Many winter shoes rely on synthetic linings that are designed to feel warm at first touch. However, these materials often struggle with moisture management. Feet naturally produce some moisture throughout the day, even in cold conditions. When this moisture has nowhere to go, it stays inside the shoe and slowly cools the foot. Damp environments pull heat away from skin much faster than dry ones, creating a chilling effect over time. This is why shoes may feel comfortable at first, but gradually become cold and unpleasant. The problem isn't always sweat in the obvious sense, but the inability of the lining to release even small amounts of moisture. When warmth and moisture are trapped together, comfort quickly turns into cold. Warm socks can make things worse. Thick socks are often the first solution people reach for when their feet feel cold. At first glance, this makes sense. More material should mean more warmth. But in practice, very warm socks can sometimes have the opposite effect. Thick or heavily padded socks often make shoes fit tighter, especially in winter footwear that already has limited space. This extra pressure can restrict circulation and compress the layers that normally trap warm air. Some socks also manage moisture poorly, holding on to dampness instead of releasing it. When moisture stays close to the skin, heat escapes faster, leaving feet feeling cold rather than protected. In these cases, adding more layers doesn't solve the problem because the balance inside the shoe is already disturbed. Cold floors and indoor footwear. Cold feet don't always stop once you step indoors. Many homes have floors made of tile, stone, or concrete, which remain cold even when the air is warm. These surfaces draw heat away from the feet continuously. Walking barefoot or wearing thin slippers offers very little insulation from below, allowing cold to build up over time. This is why feet can feel cold in a heated room, especially during winter. Indoor footwear plays a bigger role in comfort than most people realize. Without proper insulation from the floor, the body struggles to maintain warmth in the feet, no matter how comfortable the rest of the environment feels. The role of air inside the shoe. Air plays a much bigger role in keeping feet warm than many people realize. It is one of the most effective natural insulators, but only when it has space to exist. Shoes that allow a small amount of room around the foot can trap warm air and slow down heat loss. When shoes fit too tightly, there is no space for this insulating layer to form. Warmth escapes quickly, even if the shoe is lined or padded. This is why slightly roomier winter shoes often feel warmer than snug ones. The goal is not looseness, but balance. Enough space for air to circulate gently and hold warmth without letting cold air in. When this balance is missing, shoes struggle to stay warm no matter how winter-ready they look. Why winter shoes is a vague term. The label winter shoes sounds reassuring, but it doesn't actually describe how a shoe will perform in real life. Some winter shoes are designed for short walks, car travel, or mild urban winters. Others are meant for long periods outdoors, standing still, or colder climates. These differences are rarely obvious at first glance. As a result, people often expect warmth from shoes that were never designed for their specific conditions. When expectations don't match reality, discomfort follows. This is why winter shoes can feel warm one day and inadequate the next. The problem isn't always the shoe itself, but the assumption that all winter footwear works the same way in every situation. What actually helps feet stay warm? Warm feet are usually the result of balance rather than extreme solutions. Shoes work best when they allow proper circulation, manage moisture, and insulate the foot from cold surfaces without creating pressure. When these elements work together, the body can maintain warmth naturally instead of constantly losing heat. This is why changing one small detail, fit, internal space, or materials, often makes a bigger difference than buying warmer shoes. Cold feet are rarely a personal flaw or a sensitivity issue. They are usually a signal that something in the system isn't aligned. Once the balance is restored, warmth becomes stable and comfortable, without the need for constant adjustments or extra layers. Why standing still makes feet colder than walking? Many people notice that their feet feel much colder when they are standing still than when they are walking, even in the same shoes and weather. This happens because movement plays a direct role in how heat is distributed through the body. When you walk, your muscles work and blood circulation increases, helping warm blood reach the feet more efficiently. As soon as you stop moving, circulation slows down, especially in the toes, which are already far from the body's core. At the same time, heat continues to escape through the soles and the surface you're standing on. Cold ground, pavement, or indoor floors keep pulling warmth away, while the body produces less heat to compensate. This is why waiting at a bus stop, standing in line, or cooking in the kitchen can make feet feel colder than walking outside. Shoes that feel fine in motion often fail during still moments, revealing gaps in insulation, fit, or circulation support.